You are now entering the MuseCast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cue the Muse podcast, aka the MuseCast. This is Dick and my partner Ash, and today's special guest is a buddy of mine who I trained jiu-jitsu with for the past 2 years. A very cool dude, Mr. Benjamin Bowman.
What's up, guys?
Welcome, Benjamin. Guys, I've never met Benjamin. I'm over here in Tallahassee, so this is my first time getting to meet him. So this is really just going to be an hour of me getting to meet Ben before you guys.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. So Ben and I been training for a couple of years. Ben, how long have you been training? You've been doing it a little bit longer than me, I think.
I'm in my fifth year.
Mm-hmm.
My fifth year of training. So yeah, you came into the gym and you had been there before me.
Yeah.
You were kind of on and off. And
I trained for a while, a couple of years ago, and you weren't around. And then I took, I don't know how long it was away. It was probably 2 years. I think that you got 2 years on me. So I was gone for 2 years, came back, and you were there.
Yeah, you come in and you have a blue belt, and I'm like, who is this guy? Where did this guy come from? How does he have a blue belt already? I didn't know that. I didn't know.
No. Actually, I came in. I had a white belt. I was still a white belt.
Right.
And you told me I was sandbagging.
Yeah, you were. You were.
Nice.
And I said, I used to have a stripe, but it's been so long since I trained. I don't even know. I took it off, and you were like, "That's called sandbagging."
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that, man.
Hey, look, we know our own.
Yeah, you were able to recognize right when you rolled with him, huh?
It's
game recognizes game.
Ben and I will roll, and I remember one time we were both tired, and Ben's like, "Okay, here, this is what we're gonna do. Like, we'll lock up, and you push against me, and I'm gonna push back against you. And it's gonna look like we're doing something, but really, we're just gaining our breath back. Okay." I was like, "Oh yeah, this is great.
It's
this
called
is pro level stuff.
It's blue belt level.
Yeah,
it's called pro wrestling. You do the pro wrestling roll where it makes it look to the instructor. So he's like, oh, look, they're working hard. He'll go on to someone else. And we're just over there like, dude, what's up, man? How you been? Like, how's the family?
How's your mom and them? Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All
Nice.
right. My knee hurts, buddy. Oh gosh.
Oh gosh, dude, I'm so sore right now. Hey, how about this? I'm just gonna lay down and whatever you want to work on, just go ahead. That's the trick.
That's my favorite thing right now. So last night I was training with Ben last night. Ben just opened up. You just opened up an academy. The Academy, right? The Academy
Jiu Jitsu, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
awesome.
for the first time, I came down there yesterday and trained with him last night. So you've got some great coaches in it. You have tell us who before I tell the story, you tell us.
Yeah, man. We hired Diego Diniz. He's a fourth degree black belt from Brazil and just an incredible jiu-jitsu player. He's one of these guys that it's like it doesn't feel like he's even touching you, and then all of a sudden he's submitting you like nice. That. Just you're like, what the heck just happened? I have what? It blows your mind. So yeah, there's just levels to that. We've got Josh Taylor, who's the sergeant to the Palm Bay SWAT team, just an absolute killer, like probably a legitimate killer. And
Josh is definitely a killer.
Yeah, dude.
Think Kurt Rogers. Think Kurt Rogers if Kurt Rogers was an absolute murderer.
Yeah. Nice.
That's Josh.
Absolute murderer, dude. And no remorse either. Just and he and so then we got Neil, who's a 70-some-year-old guy that will blow your mind with just technique. And I remember the first time I rolled with him, I was like, oh, who's this old man? I'm just going to roll over this guy. Nope.
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 Neil makes surfboards, right? Is that
dude? He makes amazing surfboards. His company, he's got a surfboard company in Brevard, and it's like the best quality, handmade.
Do we know the name?
Dude?
We'll find it. We'll put it in the. We'll put it in the show notes.
Dude, definitely put it.
We'll give a link.
His surfboards are incredible.
Awesome.
And then Kleber is he's just now tonight graduating into the police academy. He's a judo and jiu-jitsu black belt, multiple degrees in both. The guy he'll hit you with the earth. So yeah, we've got great coaches, but they're like dedicated to new people, and as intimidating as they sound, they love teaching the basics and teaching new people who are, maybe they've never done martial arts before, or they're curious, and they're just a great group of guys. No ego at all, just humility and wanting to help and wanting to teach. And it's very disarming, when if you come in there as a guy who's thinking, man, I'm going to fight, I'm going to be tough. It's just the first time you get submitted by a 15-year-old girl, it just, whatever image of yourself as a tough guy just goes out the door.
Right.
And it's amazing. It's an amazing thing. So yeah, it's great. And by the way, Dick's actually really good. So I'll just say he's actually really good. So
awesome, man.
Yeah. So it's good training with guys who you can give someone that's new, that's a spazzy white belt, And last night, a new guy who's like a rock climber. By the way, that's why his grips are so tough, dude.
Wow,
he's a professional rock climber. Yeah, dude.
That takes crazy grip strength.
Oh my gosh, man. And they have already an innate sense of body control and everything.
Right.
And Dick's over there just like saying, I caught him. He goes, "Hey, this is what pressure feels like. I'm not going to do that to you the whole time."
I had him in side control. Ben told me, he was like, "Hey, roll with this. It's his first day, man. Day one. And I was like, okay. And so I was like, hey, so because Ben has a setup. It's like the white belt section. He has it's fenced off. So when people come in, like first day guys come in, white belts come in, have only been there for a little bit. They have they separate it. So they learn the basics. They learn the fundamental things that you keep you safe. And I can't stress how lucky they are to have that, because I didn't have that. And it's, it's beneficial for them. They come in and they teach you the things not to do. And so, when I rolled with this gentleman, we were just playing around. I said, okay, well, show me what you learned in the corral. Show me what they taught you. He said, well, we taught a mount, arm bar from mount. I think you taught him. I said, okay, yeah. I was like, go for it. All I'm going to do is try to defend it. And, he went for it. He's doing the right stuff. He had a good break the scissors technique when he spun, and I felt his legs pinched in. I was like, hey, day one with that kind of grip. Okay, man, this is cool. Good job. And
dude, these guys we had 8 white belts yesterday. These guys were doing the best armbar from mount I've ever seen in my life for white belts. For brand new. Wow. It was just so good. But it's like when you give them the foundation, right? When you give them the basics, everything starts to build. It's easier. Yeah, like music, absolutely. Like anything else. You
anything
the foundation.
Else.
Yeah, you get the foundation right. Yeah, so it was awesome. So
no, it was super cool. And when I started, it was a grappling class that was led by a purple belt, and it was all blue belts. It was the purple belt and 4 blue belts. And then I came in and I was like, this is a long time ago. The first time I ever trained, when I was 30, I was shredded up. I was 163 pounds, just above victim weight, it was, I came in there ready to go and just got hurt, man. Hurt, ribs popped, I didn't know fundamental things, don't get flattened down your back, don't, always try to work from get your hips out, work from your side and protect. And my body wasn't acclimated to that pressure. You have to your body goes through a transition where there's this pressure thing that starts happening, and it's like a toughening, for lack of a better word, that you just never experienced before. And you go through that phase, and that phase for me initially, I wish I'd have stuck with it 10 years ago, because I'd be on a whole other level now. But second best time to start was when I started again. But it was just disheartening. It's disheartening. But what Ben's doing at the Academy is really cool with this foundational class with these entry level guys.
That's great, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
It's great to give a comfortable, it's funny you're talking about how your instructor's no ego, and it seems to be like that's kind of a consistent theme, I think, for a lot of people that are closer to mastery. In almost anything, like the ego starts to drop away, and it's because it starts to become less about that and more the pursuit of being better than everybody, I think, starts to fade the deeper you go into the pursuit of anything, and it becomes more about the relationship of the thing. I would relate that with guitar. I would relate that. I mean, I don't know jiu-jitsu. I did martial arts for a long time, so there's lots of standing stuff, and you play with enough people, and you kind of the winning aspect of it is fun, but it really becomes like a side part. It's kind of like just a barometer of understanding where you're at, but it's not the reason for the pursuit, unless you're trying to compete for a living. I get that. That would change the scope of it.
Well, like, you guys are musicians, so you understand that there's a big difference between a guy who can play every solo, just do amazing stuff on any instrument, and a guy who can play in a band.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Like, they can be the same guy. But there's a big difference between a guy who can just, like, wow you with his technical prowess, and a guy that can just fit into whatever group he's playing with and make that better, elevate that, and make everyone around him better. And I think that it's the same with anything. And that's, to me, that's a sense of real mastery, is when you make everyone around you better, not just glorifying your own talents and self. And, there's, it's like you could be really good, and no one wants to play with you.
Because if you're really good, but you're just this immovable, monolith of talent, right? And you don't, because when you get to a certain skill level, eventually you can't just bring in that peak top tier skill level with everyone around you, no matter what you're doing. If it's jujitsu, if it's boxing or music, or in a band setting, like, you have to play to, you're only as strong as the weakest link. And that's kind of a negative way to put it. But, when it's a band setting, you want to push everybody and have everybody elevate each other up. But I feel like you have to play to each other. And it doesn't necessarily mean playing down. It means playing sideways. Like, I'm a metal guy. I'm not always going to play the thrash metal stuff over top of everything. You have to adapt and incorporate something that makes it magical in the moment and make it inspiring.
it always requires listening. So no matter the style of music that you play, it always requires listening to everyone else and to think, what works here? Or am I just going to mow over everyone around me so that I can be heard? It's a different mentality. And I think that's the key, is the mentality of what you're trying to accomplish artistically is very, very important.
Yeah, I kind of consider it like a state of vulnerability, right? You put yourself in positions that you're not less necessarily a master in, or you go into an unknown territory, whether it's martial arts or music. We can keep going in those analogies, but it's like that's where you get to actually grow, right? If you only stick to the one rudimentary thing that you do, and then you tight box yourself there, that's literally all you'll ever know and do. And that can happen in skill sets with martial arts too. I'll see somebody get buried in one, especially in jiu-jitsu is such a, while I haven't done it, I've love MMA and I watch, I've seen tons of jiu-jitsu. Like I'm familiar with it. I've been curious about jiu-jitsu for a long time, but there's so many aspects into where it can spread to. And with a lot of the martial art, as far as like the physical positions and the ways to approach it from like a chess match status. And with a lot of the older school martial arts, it's extremely rigid to this very specific pathway of how to punch, kick, block, right? Like there's very, very specific things. And what you'll see happen is a lot of schools for striking arts will have multiple styles being taught in the single school, potentially even by different instructors. And then those students, when they play against each other, only potentially are working in that one framework of style. And because of it, it's so limited that all the gaps are there on how to kind of like take advantage of what that straightforward only way to punch, only way to block is. And that's what's been really cool about seeing mixed martial arts take place over the last 20, in particular, the last 25 years. I think the first UFC came out when I was early middle school or something like that. So it's been around for quite a while, but
I think it was
evolution
like
happen
in the late 90s. I want to say UFC,
so like late
UFC
middle
1
school.
was maybe 97 or 98.
And I saw it. Right when it
was
came
even
out.
before that. It was like 92, 93.
Okay. That sounds right.
The very early days of the UFC. And it was a different thing. By the time
it was totally a different thing.
And by the time we got to thousands, there were like rules and rule sets. And,
totally.
Yeah.
They didn't even necessarily.
Rounds.
Before, you had to claim what style you fought in.
Right.
It wasn't MMA. It was a
kumite.
Wasn't really.
Yeah, it was a kumite. It was like two guys in the ring until there's a winner, and then it's all in one night. Then whoever wins has to go again, and it was
it was a tournament.
It was an elimination tournament.
Obviously, this is what, as far as the USA, launched the notoriety of jiu-jitsu, because then you got to see Royce Gracie come in, and this guy that's 180 pounds. Fighting 300-pound guys and submitting them by their pinky. It's like,
what? He had a secret weapon, though, because in the early days, he was wearing the gi. He was wearing the gi. And I remember my brother is who told me about it. He was like, man, you got to watch this UFC stuff. My brother's like 15 years older than me. And I was like, what's UFC? He was like, it's fighting, but it's like everyone that wins is like a wrestler. It's like it goes unless somebody gets knocked out, but he's like the wrestlers almost always win. It's crazy. He's like, I never would have thought, because it all the way up leading up to that, it's all in the movies, right? It's all striking and fighting and Bruce Lee's.
There was no wrestling. No. In the movies, there was no jiu-jitsu matches really happening.
It doesn't translate that fun on film, I feel.
Well, John Wick does a fun job because it's that plus guns.
I've only seen the first one. I've only seen
the first really? How would you? You can't be a real jiu-jitsu guy. Thank you.
Ash is right. No. Ash is right on the John Wick the integration of jiu-jitsu with shooting people in the head.
Yeah,
is actually pretty freaking cool. Yeah, it's a really good. And he does both. Keanu Reeves, I guess. He's actually a legit. I think he's a purple belt, in real life, and is actually like a legit almost competition level shooter. Because
he is
really good.
Yeah, he is like an expert marksman. I've seen videos of him training. It's insane.
And he really learned like kung fu for the Matrix stuff. So he's always been obsessed with martial arts in general. But the way that they without ruining anything, Dick, I promise, just saying the vague description that the way they do the jiu-jitsu choreography in John Wick, it's like the first time I feel like you really got to see where they went full tilt. Not that it was just a fight scene and then they pulled out a jiu-jitsu move. That the whole basis for his style of how he approaches all the combat is guns with jiu-jitsu. It's totally original. It's amazing. It's so fun. You have to watch it. Yeah,
because it's tough to think about how to pull off jiu-jitsu on film. It's
just totally over the top and silly and fun too.
It's got to be. There is a movie I've seen that was really good. It's a really nasty movie. It's a horror movie called Green Room, and I remember in Green Room, it has Patrick Stewart is in it. Neil Jean-Luc Picard.
I was picturing Doogie Howser. Is that Neil Patrick Harris? Is that...
No, Patrick Stewart is Jean-Luc Picard, Professor X, man. He's like this. Yeah. He plays this sinister, evil, like gritty, dirty strip club owner, drug dealer guy. Like he's the bad guy. And it's so beautiful. But somehow these guys, like they're a band. It's this cool movie. They're a band, but it's like, it ends up like Hostel, the hotel, the band gets trapped and then, they have to fight their way out. And one of the guys is a jujitsu guy. I remember I was like, oh, cool. Jujitsu on an action movie. This is cool. And I won't tell you any more of it.
Okay.
But it's a good movie. Green Room's the name of it.
Nice. Yeah, I think Keanu Reeves might be the first person to make jiu-jitsu accessible to film, right? Like, because
to film,
because when you think about it, jiu-jitsu is almost unwatchable for a spectator. Yeah. There's a reason why the greatest, best, like IBJJF, ADCC, like all these top level world championship matches, there's no one in the stands. No one's buying tickets. No one cares because no one knows what they're looking at. Because the most of the populace would look at two guys rolling and they go, all right, who's winning? I have no idea because they don't know where the fight exists. And that's one of the greatest things about jiu-jitsu is it teaches you through doing jiu-jitsu what's actually important in a fight. And the rule set in something like IBJJF or even Naga it actually guides the practitioner into the most efficient way to fight. That's why it rewards certain things that are actually the most efficient thing and the best thing that you would want to do in a fight. That's why like back control or mount is worth 4 points, whereas a sweep or a takedown is worth 2 points. But you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, the more advantageous the position, the higher the points awarded is.
Right. But you're looking at a guy in someone's guard thinking, oh, that guy's on top. He must be winning. And that guy in that other person's guard might be in the worst position.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's fighting to get out of that guard. And I had to transition because I went from one side of the spectrum to the other. Back before I trained or anything, I'd watch UFC. They go on the ground and, I'm right there with everybody in BW3s watching the fights going, oh, come on, stand him up. Let's see some punches. Everybody's like, they're laying there forever. It gets people start booing and they just don't understand. I didn't understand. Then as soon as I was like less than a month in, I was like, every time in UFC, when they go to the ground, I'm like, don't stand him up. Don't stand him up. He's working.
Right.
Like you can see.
Right. Let him go. Let him work.
And then it's exciting. Then it's like, I want to watch this and see how he calculates his way out of this. And it's like, it's fun. And it turns into that. You understand the chess match, but you don't really get it until you've played that game.
Yeah. Right. And if you don't train, you don't know what's going on. That's like in American culture, what is like the sport that the most amount of men end up playing and then rooting for and watching so they kind of know the rules? And probably answer is football. You know, like that's why
sure.
football's so big, is because high school football is so big, and because everybody can kind of see, okay, you got to move the ball from this side of the field, this side of the field. I know what's going on, and maybe there's some like little rules here and things. I know what pass interference is if I see it.
Yeah,
but in a jiu-jitsu match,
coaches.
yeah, exactly. But in a jiu-jitsu match, the majority of the population has no idea what they're looking at, which is why I don't think until it becomes like a thing that we do as a culture, it'll never be to that level of popularity, just because it's people won't know what they're looking. They won't be able to do the armchair Monday morning quarterbacking to a jiu-jitsu match because they don't know what they're looking at, because they never trained, because it's incredibly ego crushing just to train. And most people don't want to do that. They want to think that they're tough, and they rather think they're tough.
Everybody wants to keep that glass case that their ego stands on or lives in, right? And as soon as you come in, that's why so many people don't last, because they come in and they realize, just like you said earlier, you know, they get set up with somebody, and with jiu-jitsu, like you receive what you put out. So if you're on day one and you're rolling with a high level guy and you go super easy, they're gonna go super easy. If you come in and you start, and it's natural. It is natural for new people to come in, because what happens is you get this fight or flight, natural instinctive reaction, and you tense up and you start doing things really like you're kind of scared, and you're kind of like, and you start getting intense, like, then you want to win, and that ego kicks in, I want to win, and you start going hard, and then whoever that is, whatever level they are, they're higher level than you, they're just going to turn it up as much as you. And then if you start getting to where you're going to like do something to them, they turn up a little bit more. And if you're a real a-hole when you come in, they're just going to turn it all the way up and do it over and over and over again. And it is going to be soul crushing. It is just humiliating. It is embarrassing, and it hurts. And that's when, that's the wrong way to do it. But
sure. But if you come in thinking, hey, I'm tough, I'm in shape, I'm young, I'm strong, it's so important, man. It's good that happens to you, in my opinion. Like if you come in with that mentality, it's good that it happens to you. And I kind of liken it to playing music, in that there's a big difference between me playing in my garage or in my room and kind of like working on stuff, and playing on a stage. You know, when you play on a stage, all of a sudden things matter, and I can make mistakes if I'm just goofing around trying to learn. I've got some tab pulled up and I'm just trying to like figure something out. But if I'm playing in a group and I'm expected to perform at this level at this time, and I screw up, there's no way to hide now. There's no way to hide that I just goofed this. And as musicians, we know there are some ways to hide the screw up, but it depending on what it is. But for the most part, the other musicians will hear it and know like what you did.
You gotta just play into it. You gotta just like laugh about. I mean, I think seeing musicians laugh at each other, it makes it eradicate immediately. It's like, oh, they're having fun. Oh, we missed something. They're laughing about it. Like you could, as a spectator, I know just from seeing even idols of mine do that. I'm like, oh, they're human. Great, cool.
And sometimes those are the most magical like parts of it. Those are the most memorable parts. Sometimes, my philosophy is I'd rather mess up the lick trying to do a backflip off the damn, stunt riser or something than to stand there perfectly still and play it, immaculately,
and there's also, I think, it depends on the part, right? Like, I mean, obviously certain parts require more concentration and you want to try to nail it, like a solo or something.
Yeah, I'm not going to do a backflip if I'm doing the intro to Stairway.
But during the like a lot of riffing and grooves and stuff, it's like totally the energy is more important than the perfection of the nailed note at exactly the right speed. Like it's okay to pulse it up and down a little bit and give the energy to the crowd rather than be a statue. For sure.
And there's something about when everyone in the band makes the same mistake at the same time. I don't know if you ever experienced that. Where like everyone makes like the same.
It's usually on a stop, and then it's like supposed to be a 1-2 go, and then everybody's like 1-2-3 go, and everybody's at a different time.
And that's when you all look at each other, you laugh, and you go, "What the heck was that?"
Ben, what do you play? I mean, I see a guitar back there. Is that the instrument of choice for you? Or?
Mostly, yeah. I play everything. I've been, I started as an orc dork, playing cello and bass at 4th grade, and so I've played pretty much everything. Guitar, I like probably the most. I play a little bit of everything. I played drums a little bit, guitar and
nice. Yeah. And you're in an active band right now, or
no, man? I like music too much to to tolerate anyone. No, it's just it's one of those things where I had that time in my life when I was younger, and when I was able to be playing in a band and doing that and traveling around and doing all that. So that, but now I'm a dad.
Aren't we all? I know.
Being a dad, right? Best job ever.
It's just
no, it's great.
Nothing's better, bro.
I haven't been in a live performing band for like a decade now. I have an itch to maybe get out there and perform again at some point, maybe this year. We'll see what happens. But it's like it's not what it used to be desire-wise on my meter. I mean, I'm honestly very satisfied just getting to write and play guitar. I totally agree that there's something you get, a maturity from performing actively with other musicians and getting that chemistry. I miss that. I miss the songwriting in a room together. I think that's probably what I miss more than performing. But I'd like to get up there and just do a couple of performances here and there. But before, when I did it, man, that was the number one goal, was to just get as much stage time as we could get our hands on and feel that experience of performing. It is an unmatched, unique, beautiful thing. It's really great when a lot of people show up to share it with you.
Sure.
It's not as fun when it's 5 people that that
sometimes
that aren't impressed.
Sometimes
why is he acting that way?
Are the short ones though. Sometimes the best shows are the ones where only 7 or 8 people show up, and
if they don't know me, then yes. But if they know me, it's a completely different thing, because it's like I want to lose myself in the music, and I know that they're thinking, "Why is Ash acting that? He's acting kind of goofy." It's like I don't. It's not, but it's not as fun as like fuck yeah. And it's hard to get that when there's 5 people that know you.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
that makes sense.
I always get tunnel vision when I play, and whether I'm playing.
That's why you look that way.
Yeah, that's why I have that.
He's in the tunnel. Nick's in the tunnel again. Get him out,
dude.
I for the longest time I never would do any crowd interaction or anything. So it didn't I would play the same show in my mind, whether I was playing for 12 people or 100 people or 1,000. I don't know if I ever played for 1,000 people, maybe at the core show, but it was always like, I'm just up here doing it. And I just was able to detach and let loose. And like it started from the very first show I ever played, which was a high school talent show. And I had the long hair like you back then, Ash. I had a pair of leather pants and a long sleeve.
I've never had leather pants.
Boy,
for the audio listeners, Ash is currently wearing leather pants. No,
he has leather pants. For everybody.
He's got no pants on at all.
I got no pants on at all.
Ash is not wearing pants, ladies and gentlemen.
I do all these podcasts completely nude on the bottom half.
What I was talking about.
Oh, that's why you look that way.
In your words, I can hear an ocean. In your touch, I can feel the devotion. They will try to subdue our motion with no emotion, silenced emotions. In my eyes, can you see my soul? It still burns as it's growing.
minute.
Yeah,
So,
keep going. You had long hair and leather pants. Tell me more.
Long hair, leather pants, tunnel vision, same show every night. Lose myself, jump around. I like to fall over sometimes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
hold on. I got to segue to something else. I was talking to a local guy yesterday, and I can talk about this on the podcast. So this weird thing happened. Michael Nix is a guitar player in a band in Tallahassee. Ash, you know him. Ben, you don't know Michael. But Michael Nix messaged me the other day and said, hey, how close do you live to Cocoa? And I was like, well, I live in Cocoa. What's up? He's like, oh, well, there's a guy selling a guitar cabinet that matches my crank rev head. If I buy it, do you think you can go check it out and pick it up? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I ride over to this guy's house and test out the crank. And the guy is a vocalist for a slam band called Defiled. His name is John. He is a vocalist for a slam band called Defiled. And they are some heavy, nasty, cool stuff. And I ended up, I'm friends with this guy now. Like but he's opening up a venue down here in Cocoa, and it's going to be like an all ages underground metal venue, like a, it's 80 head room. So it's it's like 800 square foot room.
Okay.
But anyways,
nice.
I told all that same story to Ben last night, and Ben started telling me, Ben, when you were young, you used to work for a guy who had a venue and a pizza joint across the street. I made you stop this story because I want to hear. I want to hear where you're going with this story. If you're okay, tell me.
Okay. Well, first, when Dick was telling me about this, I was like, "Oh gosh, the riffraff that I can imagine that a slam band and this location will attract."
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
Well, and this guy John, I told you last night, this guy John was like, he's not going to let no grass smoking in the venue and controlling it. But that's like a today thing. And back in the day, that wasn't always the case. I mean, I remember places, but Ben, you're telling me this place was pretty rough.
Well, it was. So there was this bar on the beach, and next to it was this pizza place that I worked at, and I was like 19, 20 years old, right? So I'm working at this pizza joint, making pizzas at night, and the great thing about the guy owned both spots. So the guy
menu pizza joint, and they were like right across the street,
right? Like a parking lot separating them. So they were on the same side of the street, parking lot separating them. And the guys in the bar could order pizzas, and then I'd make them and bring them on over, right? So I'd feed the guys as they're, getting destroyed that night.
Yeah.
And
the bar wasn't a restaurant. But
correct, exactly.
You could order a pizza at the bar, and Ben, you would deliver it.
I'd bring it over. And so one night, there's these two guys, as I'm walking in delivering something, these two guys are about ready to kill each other over, I don't even know what. They're drunk, they're acting crazy. And I'm like, okay, what's happening here? And I look over at my boss who's there at the bar, and he's like looking at me like, hey, do something about this. So
what are you supposed to do? Why is that your responsibility?
Exactly.
The pizza delivery guy's supposed to be the bell here?
Hey, put those pizzas down and do something about this.
All of a sudden, I'm now like responsible for this situation.
Okay.
And I go, I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I go, hey guys, and I go, hey, you guys want to fight? And they're like, yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, they're totally blitzed.
One of them's like, yeah, let's go. Yeah. I said, let's take it outside. And I let one of them walk in front of me. The other is behind me. I'm kind of in between them now.
Oh, that sounds terrible. Right.
It's not a good spot.
Not a good place.
I let the guy walk out the door in front of me. I close the door. I lock it. I tell the other guy to go sit down. I'll buy him a beer. And that was the end of the fight. And the guy on the outside, is like banging on the door. Hey, let me in, And eventually he got tired or lost or, got a cab or something. And the other guy just sat down. And that was It's like de-escalation.
Yeah.
was the key to that situation. But
Yeah,
yeah, man.
Jiu-jitsu mind.
I didn't have
It was
it then,
jiu-jitsu
so
before you knew jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
verbal jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Just how do I, get through
Yeah.
this? But the whole thing with that was like, man, those kinds of places, man, just attract the toughest group of people because you want them there, because you want them to come to the shows, you want them to come to the event, you want them to buy the ticket, take the ride, do the thing.
Yeah.
But man, it's just like sometimes they just attract the worst kind of people that you have to deal with, and it's just a reality of the business. So,
And is this venue that's opening up isn't necessarily next to your jiu-jitsu place though, right? Or I didn't connect this. Okay.
So I'm actually gonna contact John and help him set up his front of house sound next week.
Oh, cool.
So
nice.
I talked to him about doing. We'll get him on the podcast in a couple of weeks. We got some
fun.
openings down the line, but so Ben, I want to you opening up an academy, opening up a jiu-jitsu school itself. This is your first time through. What I'm sure there's some hurdles. I mean, how have you had to adapt and kind of what's the flow of that, man? I'm genuinely curious.
That's such a difficult question. Yeah. Well, I think it's the same as any business in terms of do people know we exist? Do people know we're here? Do people, there's that. And if we don't have memberships, just like any other gym, if we don't have people coming on as members, we're never going to make it, and there's a certain number. So I think like doing the numbers of, well, how many people do we need to just continue to survive and to maintain?
Mm-hmm.
And how long does it take to get to that point? And what number do we need to hit to make this really good for everyone involved? Those are things that we had to do early on, was just to do the numbers of what it would take. And then the initial investment of, well, how much money is this going to take to put into this and to do, and how much taxes and insurance and everything is a fee, and just the government's constantly trying to pilfer every single thing that you do, and it's just it's been such a learning experience for us.
I'm curious about the insurance part of it, and this might be a super boring thing for listeners, but we don't have to dwell too long. But I am very curious because, in my experience with any gym I've ever trained at, there's always a liability release form to sign. Day one, because of the nature of the gym. Like, you are coming in here, and this is a contact sport. I mean, this is you can get very injured, it's freak accident stuff. But is there a level of insurance that you have to carry that's like that even with the liability release forms? And is that kind of written into that policy?
Absolutely. Like, there's a special for martial arts gyms insurance that you have to have.
Mm-hmm.
And because it is that contact, and because it is, let's say you come in and you train, you sign the liability form, and you're rolling with a black belt or our instructor, and he breaks your neck and you're paralyzed for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I say that because that's a situation that happened in California.
Oh my God.
Where a brand new person was rolling with a black belt, and I think it was an instructor, and that person was paralyzed for the rest of their life, and it was a lawsuit, and they won, and it, like, millions of dollars, which you go, well, at that point, who cares? Because the person can't walk the rest of their life, so what does it matter? But it was a significant ruling, and something I think made a lot of gyms go, whoa, that could happen if that can happen there, and there's footage of the accident too, and you just go, oh my gosh, that was obviously such like a crazy freak thing.
It was obvious in the footage of
yeah.
that. Yeah. That's amazing that there was footage of it.
There was footage of it. And to me, it was very much a freak thing. But there were high-level jiu-jitsu black belts that were brought in for testimony about their opinion on that situation that said, no, that should never have happened. These people should be awarded this money.
Wow.
So insurance is very important. The right kind of insurance is very important for that. And it's not just a, hey, you want to roll, I want to roll, let's just set up mats in our garage and let's get going. And if you do business like that, man, I understand there's guys that do that and they grow and they build it from there. But that's just not what we wanted to do. We needed to be legit right away. So
and that kind of brings it back to the curriculum that you have with setting up and separating people. So like kind of Ashley, you kind of walk you through and you can picture it where you come into the gym. It's all they immediately separate the white belts from the colored belts, and the colored belts have initial like circle up, demonstrate techniques, and the white belts are separated and they do their own. They have an instructor in there. It was Ben who was in there instructing white belts last night, I believe. And it's just a different thing, and it's they start with the fundamentals, and it's a very, to me, I think that's a really key important thing to do with people than that's what happens. You throw people in because it's so easy to get hurt. I mean, Ash, you've been with me through all of my injuries in the last 2 years, whether, the most recent one was, I got Americana'd by a 15-year-old kid named Tony. And
Tony did that, huh?
Tony, I love rolling with Tony. Like Tony is really fun. So Ash, Tony's 15, he's about Kyron's size, and I think he's a little stronger than Kyron because he works out pretty regularly. But Tony's
been training since he was a child, like when he's really, really young. So
green belt with a black stripe. And when you see a minor with a green belt with a black stripe, basically that's a black belt for kids. and like I roll with Tony, and he's so fun to roll with. We just, I started turning it up, and he's super athletic and he's small, and it's you think like you lose. I lost perspective of who he was. It's so easy. It's so easy to do because and I went for side control, and I had a knee grip, and I had an arm out, and I pushed the knee down, and that arm out, anybody else, that arm out would have been safe. It's not safe with Tony, and it was an immediate, so fast, and he pulled it, and he didn't mean to, but it was just, he's like, in Tony's mind, he's like, oh, you give thanks, thanks, man, and it was like, okay, cool. I'm done for a while. Yeah. Hell yeah, man. That was good. That was good. And then I couldn't straighten my elbow out. It hurts to straighten it there. It starts hurting. Yeah. And you see that one goes all the way and then some. But it's going to get better. It's just one of those things. But that's me being a blue belt and not respecting the situation. Right.
Right.
That's the injuries come, I believe, because at blue belt is all I can speak for. I can't speak for anything higher, but at the level I'm at, I've reduced my output exponentially. Exponentially. I do not get amped up in rolls anymore. And I'm very, very careful and selective on when I turn up any kind of gas, just because it's like every time I turn it up, there's always a chance of an injury. And I'm not a competitor. I'm not competing. I don't think I plan to compete. It's not why I'm in it. I'm in it just because I love learning it. And it's a self-defense thing for me. but like I've turned it up a couple times and had fun, and it's been great. But then that's also the times that I've been hurt, and I've been lucky that the injuries haven't been, really bad.
I think, Dick, competition, one of the benefits of it is that as much as you have turned down the intensity, competition actually helps you turn it down even more.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Because when I go with someone like Tony now, I just lay down. I just
Yeah.
I just lay down.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
I just go, and it's one of those things where, okay, whatever they're gonna do, the intensity they're gonna bring, I'm gonna bring such a calmness to it that, like, I can't get hurt, because in competition, I've been hurt. I've been severely hurt. And I know now, like, I have surgery next week, next Wednesday, on my ACL. I have to have a whole ACL put in, and I have all this terrible stuff from a competition over a month ago.
Yeah.
But I'm training right now with no ACL, no, like, my knee's all jacked up. But I'm training, but I'm able to be so safe and so calm, and no one's going to do anything to me that could really, really affect me. But but I think it's also because of competition, where I've learned how to just bring everything down in those roles.
Well, competition is such a climax, right? Like, I mean, to actually touch the intensity of that, everything that you do, you're always raising the bar every year you're older. You can handle more and more stuff, right? Like, I mean, you think about just juggling life and the amount of things that you pull off in a day. Could you imagine handling one day of what you do now when you were 19?
Oh gosh.
Right? It's not even comparable, right? Because, and I think that, so that's kind of like a big world example, but same thing with the competition, any specific thing. Same thing with doing, performances. If there's something I do miss from doing like a live performance musically, it's just like, it is a climax point that then gives you more calm, even when you're with just your musicians, more of a comfort zone to be more exploratory and understand what it is. There's a difference.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, it's good to touch those higher things, especially safely as you can. But they make but it doesn't stick. I think this is important to acknowledge, is that it can only last so long. It's not like you go and perform on a stage once and you've done it and you can keep that for the rest of your life for what gets you nervous. You're going to be nervous if you go 10 years without playing on a stage. It's going to be like, well, I might think a little bit before I get on the stage. I'm sure there'll be some nerves again or something like that. And my job, I make videos for a living for different companies and stuff, and there's been every year there's a new frontier of what just keeps me up for a month leading up to the shoot, where I can barely sleep. I'm so nervous because the expectation's so high, the pressure's so on. I'm only going to get to film this in this one moment, this one time, this one thing's going to be there. I'm going out of town for it. All this money's riding on it. All these people are counting on me to dictate what's going to be happening. I'll be the point of failure if it's, and every time I touch that, I come out of it and I feel like not to like sound egotistical, but I almost feel like Superman. Like man, what, the kid's crying? That ain't nothing. I just did all this other stuff.
Well, it's a confidence builder.
It's a confidence builder. It's amazing. But 2 or 3 months go by and I don't have a project like that pushes me to that extreme in some way, some new frontier. And it doesn't take as much to, like, I lose that it only sustains for so long. You have to keep touching that. And you do it enough times and enough times, it starts to sustain. It becomes a part of who you are. But, you can't just do it once and reap that for the rest of your life. So stay active and keep moving.
Ash, I think that's absolutely true of everything. Like, you got to throw yourself in the fire so that you don't get burned. It's the paradoxical.
You kind of do. Yeah.
It's a paradoxical situation. I was I got done training, and like my little routine after training, it's a hard sesh. I go hit up like Dollar General and go get like a an energy drink so I can be up till 1 a.m. and like go get go get some caffeine at a non-optimum time. And this woman is at the counter. Oh, there you go. Dick's got it going.
Hey, I'm drinking coffee right now. I stay up till 3 a.m. every night.
So I go to the counter, and this woman's like, I'm watching her bag everybody's groceries as she's checking them out, and she's licking her finger every single time for every bag. And I'm just like, I don't want her to. And she goes, I finally get up to her, and she goes to like take my stuff and put it in a bag. I go, I don't need a bag. And she licks her finger. She goes, okay. And then she touches my drink, like on the top.
Even worse.
And I just go, all right, whatever. Like,
okay, here you go, sugar.
Yeah, exactly. Licks her sore on her mouth,
But see, now that you've gone through that, then the rest of the day is cake. You know, you climax it, buddy.
Right. It makes
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is your jiu-jitsu wind down. You go to the same Dollar General with the same bag looking lady.
No, it was a different lady. It was a different lady there.
Okay. that would be hilarious
if I kept going back.
I put myself through this every day. This is good for me.
I'm getting stronger.
I'm building up my mental tolerance.
You don't intimidate me. You have no idea what I go through every day.
This woman licks my groceries every day.
And then it turns into a love story if you weren't married. But, that's where I'd take it in a film. It'd become a film.
And then
wait a minute. So which Dollar General is this you're going to? Send me the address. I'm going to make sure I'm not going there.
Isn't it really any of them?
Yeah.
What are you doing at the Dollar General? Man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I like the never tired back there. I like the never tired.
Yeah, bro. Well, I had all my medals on them, but I sent them to the gym.
Nice.
What are you going to put up there now? You just got the guitar under it.
Yeah, I have to get more medals once I get better here.
Yeah. Oh, that's a bummer that you got to do the surgery, man. A year? Is that what we're looking at?
The doctor said I have a pothole-sized hole in my knee, and I have no ACL, and my meniscus is shunted out the side of my leg. So he said a year to 2 years to recover. So I'll be back training in 3 months.
Right, of course,
like full on training.
Oh yeah,
3 months, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. No.
What's it? Pull harder. Pull harder.
Back to the level I'm at now, which is laying down and going, okay, what do you want to do today? And
crawl all over me.
Whatever you want to do.
When I had the groin injury, that was 6 months of working from half guard.
Half guard's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
I love half guard.
I do too, man.
It's safe. I feel well. It's not safe. There's some folks out there who have showed me very efficiently how many holes I have in my half guard game. But that's what I like about it. I mean, it's great. I also submitted a guy from half guard just from like a butterfly. I went to X guard. I was in half guard, and I went to X guard on his single leg. And when I straightened him out, he was pretty new, but I straightened him out. And I knee barred him. I didn't really do it too bad, but he tapped quick. I was like, "Hey, that felt good for me." I'm sorry, I didn't. I know it didn't feel good for you, but that was a little confidence booster for me. I was like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna try to work on that."
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah,
Super
I love half
cool.
guard.
Yeah. We'll get Ash in there. I think Ash, sometime when you come down here next time, like the Kurt's coming down this weekend, because he's going to come to the Acid Bath show, and if I can twist Kurt's arm enough, I'm going to bring him in with Ben on Saturday.
Oh, dude, that'd be great.
And like, cause Kurt's talked about it. He's like, I don't want, I was like, just get in there and this will be the perfect, environment. Cause day one guy, never tried it before. And Ben's got
that's my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite, man. I love taking on like new guys that have never done it. That's my favorite because it's just there's so much to learn. I mean, you remember like your first 2 years. It's like there's too much to learn. It's too much.
There's still I'm 3 years in, and there's still stuff blows my mind. Like, oh, you can do that. Oh, that from here. I wish I'd known about that.
That was there the whole time. Like, why didn't you even tell me? Yeah,
it's so easy. Like what? I've been stuck in this spot. Like it's like wandering through the woods in a trail. And every day you go out in the woods further and further, and you start remembering the trails. And then one day you like the first 10 steps in, like, oh, there's another trail there, and this one goes right to this cool like sinkhole with a chill spot and a tree swing. It's like, and it's right there. But I've been walking through these other trails for the last 2 years, going to the same sand pit.
Walking through quicksand. What am I doing?
Getting in the sticker bushes. What's going on?
It really is, man. It's like, and it's like that in anything else that you try to get good at. It's when you learn the tricks, the secrets, you realize they're not really secrets. It's just you didn't have the maturity or the development to recognize it. Yeah.
You didn't identify it for what it was.
Yeah. And had anyone told you then, you actually couldn't have picked up on it, or you would have thought, oh, that's stupid. That doesn't work.
Oh, everything that everyone told me when I was 19 that I'm now telling my 15-year-old. Right. The difference is he listens. He actually listens and absorbs it. Where I knew everything. Oh yeah, I couldn't tell me nothing. Idiot.
Yeah. Well then you're extremely blessed then to have a son who listens to you, because that's going to be so good for him.
I can't express how lucky I am. And one of the reasons that I'm still as active that I am in music today at 41 is because my son is 100% in. He's in on the music. So I play with him. I mean, he's in, if I'm in a group right now, like he's in it. He and I write music together, and everything that I wish that I would have had, some old school music guy to tell me when I was young, like I that's who I am for him, like the do's and don't waste your time on knuckleheads, like don't start a band with, druggies, don't
good luck with that.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, and understand, like musicians are going to probably smoke some dope, and they're going to smoke some pot, and I don't, but almost everyone I've ever been in a band has, and that's probably normal, but he takes after me, luckily, and because he's experimented, and I caught him, and it wasn't good for him. Not from me, just from the effect. And I know, like, hey, I know what you're going through, because it does that to me too. I OD on just the tiniest little bit of the weeds. I can't do it. It doesn't take much for me. I don't like that psychedelic trip down the woods.
Yeah.
Twisting into
That's actually a really good thing. That's actually a really, really good thing. Yeah. It's expensive.
Yeah, it's one more.
expensive.
Yeah, it can
It's
be.
one more thing, right? You have
Yeah, dude.
your weekly expenses, and then if that's in there, it's one more thing, and that's an expensive thing to have.
Yeah, and that's just one thing it costs you.
Yeah,
Is money.
yeah,
And it costs you so much more beyond that.
yeah, and then it only gets worse.
Mhm.
But so we can't. We're at our hour. We can't end on the downer.
Downer.
So we
Well,
got.
That was a downer.
I
That was
gotta-
a more you know. That was a more you know moment.
I got a closer question for you. So, if people are interested in checking out the school, how does it work for them? If do they get to come and try a class for free to explore it, or do they need to sign up before they come in? And is it like a year membership or is it a monthly thing? How does that work?
Yeah, so we do a week free trial. So if you want to
That's
try
cool.
it for a week, unlimited training, you can do that. If you want to go to academyjjmelbourne.com, you can go on that website, and that's our website. You can sign the waiver, sign up as a visitor, and that free trial starts once your feet touch that mat. So as soon as you come in, try it for a week, and if you like it, you can look at our membership options. There's lots of membership options. Some people like to just train month to month, 3, 6, 12-month contracts. We do as well.
Oh, nice. That's great that you have that much flexibility.
Yeah, there's definitely flexibility. We try to work with people's abilities with whatever they're able to do. And academyjjmelbourne.com. That's where we're at. So
nice. And we will put that in our description.
Awesome.
As well, so people can just click on that. Yeah, totally. Well, Ben, dude, it was super nice getting to talk with you this way and meet you
thank you,
live in a recording. Recording.
Yeah. I feel like we just scratched the surface on all there is to talk about. I'm looking at Dick's The Thing poster. I want to get into The Thing as the greatest horror movie of all time. We should talk about that sometime.
Oh yeah,
there's so many things.
Yeah. My closing question is because you've actually brought this up to me. What is your favorite music to roll to?
Oh my gosh, dude! I think it's right now. It's like island music. It's like whatever calms me down. And
nice.
And on the playlist, on the Academy playlist right now, when Electioneering by Radiohead comes on, I'm pretty stoked on that right now. So I did that. So yeah, that's
super cool. Cool. So okay, and we'll go around the table. Ash, I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite music to work out to? Since you're not training jiu-jitsu, what are you currently listening to working out?
Let's see. Right now, I'm in between a few things because King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard released a new album recently, so I'm exploring that. It's like super. It's cool. It's very cool, but it's like super 70s. Like it's not Sinatra like exactly, but it kind of reminds me of like that era. So they totally change it up on every album. They go from heavy metal to like indie music to all
like
kinds
the
of
Doors.
Yeah, totally. And it's great. And then I was also revisiting Dark New Days catalog and even Creed again, because we just had on John Kurtzwig, the producer from Creed, and Acid Bath. I mean, all those, like, because we've been having on the guests that we have, it's been triggering me going back down and revisiting old catalogs that were inspirations for me to get into guitar with. Yeah.
My kids have gotten into Creed. You know, my kids are 11, 13, and 15. And they freaking love Creed, dude.
They're on tour. They're about to go on their tour. It's the tour of 99. Seven Dust is opening up for them. And, John Kurtzwig made their first the 3 albums that all went crazy big, multi-platinum. So you might want to check out that episode. That's 2 episodes back. We just had him on. And we had the guitarist from Acid Bath in the last episode. So, man, listen to Acid Bath again. So so wild and good and cool. Nobody sounds like Acid Bath. Just nobody.
No, nobody does.
Yeah.
I've right now, the song that's getting me pumped right now is a song I shared it with you once, Ash, a while back. I just revisited it this week. It's called I think it's called, the song is called Face, but the band is called Static Dress. Dress. And Face is just, it is like intense from start to finish. And it's like, it's got this crazy emotional, just down spiral. You know, it feels like he's talking about a breakup maybe, but then it kind of spirals into this really metaphorical thing about people being fake and wearing, you know, a different face and this and that. And just, but the music itself just gets me pumped up. I don't think I want to roll to that. I'm more. I think
choking at everybody. You fake mother.
For chill stuff, I still like. I'm still stuck on this acoustic group called Empty Self, who has really, really fun acoustic grooves with like almost electronic beats, and the vocals are like very I don't know the right word. They're like Rage Against the Machine was kind of anti-political, you know. They had like a statement that they were saying, and this guy really similar, but he's not like, it's not like anti-blue or anti-red or anything. It's more anti just establishment and anti-shitty humanity. And he really sings about, you know, just the awful parts of society being brought out into light and really calling it out. And I like that. That's kind of, but the music's really chill, and I feel like it's chill, but the overtone, like the actual theme of the vocals is so heavy, and the music's just chill and feels good. Like I love just like losing in it. But then I realized what he's talking about. It's like, oh yeah. And it kind of like, it has this effect I can't explain. It's kind of addictive to me. Like it's trance-like. His vocals really smooth and clean. The guitar harmonies are just money. Like all of them are really great. I love like every song. The acoustic lines are perfect, but it's super cool. I think that's what I don't roll to that either, because it's not on anybody's playlist that I roll with, but I think of it in my mind.
Think of it while I'm rolling.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah.
Cool. Well, Ben, thanks for coming on, man.
Dude, thank you guys.
Thanks,
AcademyJJ.com, right?
AcademyJJMelbourne.com. That's where we're at.
AcademyJJMelbourne.com.
Link down below.
Guys,
if you want to check it out.
Thanks for sticking with us. This has been episode 80 of the MuseCast. Tune in next week, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Peace. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the podcast, that's awesome. We really appreciate it. But you should check out our full actual web series if you have not seen it yet, because this is where we put all the effort into a production. It's a sci-fi comedy, but we're a rock band, and so we put music videos inside of each episode.
No views but your own easy escape. Don't pay no mind to what they say. They're in their own world anyway.
Each episode features a new singer on each song that we unveil within the episode.
And will they
All unique singers from the Southeast region, most of them from right here in the Florida Panhandle, and all independent, unsigned, unknown artists until now.
No matter how hard I try, turn it down.
Premise of the show, Ash and I are a couple of bonehead guitar players living off the grid, trying to save humanity, which has been brainwashed from an artificial intelligence stripping us away of our creativity and our creative spirit.
We developed a mind travel machine to go into people's brains and collaborate with their inner muses, bringing back music that is completely organic from human muse collaborations. Enter Cue the Muses. You know what, we're kind of getting sidetracked, man. There's only so much time for frequency absorption. We need to hop on it. Can you fire up the cadence tubes?
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and get my shoes tied.
Okay. go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the little bell. Tell YouTube that we matter, that you like us, and that you want to see more of us, because that's the only way that happens. Stay tuned.